What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Formula One Gridlock podcast. My name, of course, is Nathan Charles, and I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Chase Bozung. Chase, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
I'm enjoying F1. How about you?
I am enjoying it as well. We had a fantastic race this past weekend. Of course, is this our home race, technically, Chase?
Yes. Yeah.
This is the United States Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Beautiful day for racing, and it was a great race, Chase.
Yep.
It was one of the best this year, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I think maybe the best because of the results and how it kind of makes the rest of the season play out. But I am excited to get into it and start talking about it. So, of course, we got to do the race rundown. If you don't know who won, you should watch the race. But obviously, Max Verstappen won.
Yeah.
So Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, taking first place. He qualified first and he finished first.
Let's go.
Second place, Lewis Hamilton, the Mercedes. Keeping it close, but he does not win. That's important.
Very.
Third place, Sergio Perez in the second Red Bull. That's huge.
Big boy, huge.
Fourth place, Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. That's a great result for him. Fifth place, Daniel Ricciardo, another great result. Sixth place, Valtteri Bottas. That's not great for Mercedes. They don't want him all the way down there, especially when Sergio is in third. Seventh place, Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Okay. Eighth place, Lando Norris in the McLaren. Ninth place, Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. That's great for him, scoring some points. 10th place, Sebastian Vettel right on the edge in the Aston Martin. 11th place, Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo. That's a pretty good finish for Antonio. 12th place, Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. 13th place, Kimi Räikkönen in the second Alfa Romeo. 14th and 15th were the Williams, George Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Nickel Latifi. That's a good nickname.
Yeah.
Because he's only scored 5 points this season. Boom! Actually, I probably don't think he has even that many.
No, I think he has 9.
Oof. Okay, well, good for him. 16th place and 17th place were the Haas's, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. And we had 3 DNFs in this race. Both of the Alpines, unfortunately, DNF'd. Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. And then a travesty. Pierre Gasly with the DNF. He has had such terrible luck this season. He's had like a couple DNFs that are just not his fault.
Yeah.
But alas. Well, we might talk about it later, we might not. I don't know if we will. But it's not important because what is important, Chase, is your one-word description. Give it to me.
My one-word description's 2 words, but it still works. Turning point.
You're breaking the rules a little bit, but
yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
It's turning point because, and I might have used a word similar to this a couple races ago, but or at the beginning of the season, but I really think Mercedes' dominant era is coming to an end.
Yeah.
I mean, they have given it everything they've had this entire season, and they're still barely winning the constructors, and they're now losing the drivers. That's huge. So, I think this year is the last year we can stop dogging on Hamilton for just being in the best car on the grid.
Okay. I absolutely agree. This was great. This was a great race from everybody. My one word, and I did one word, I'm not breaking the rules, was statement. This was a statement race from Red Bull. They could have given up in this race. They could have. Max got a bad start. He got a bad start. Whereas Lewis got a great start. Hand it to him. Great start. Lewis got in front of him. Red Bull were like, no. Fine. Maybe we're not going to beat you out on the track, but we're going to beat you in the pit stops. We're faster than you in the pit stops. We knew the car just was better on that track than that Mercedes. Even if the Mercedes got a better jump, Red Bull were like, no. This isn't over till it's over. This isn't over till I don't know whatever celebrity
the fat lady sings.
Well, I don't want to say the fat lady because I don't think there were any fat ladies.
Oh.
I was gonna make a joke about them always like having celebrities wave the checkered flag. Like I remember Serena
Mm.
Williams was like waving the
Yeah,
checkered flag.
that was my first thought, Serena
I don't
Williams.
know. I don't know who waved the checkered flag for this one. I'm sure it was some famous person, but
I don't know, but there are a ton of celebrities
there
there.
were a lot of celebrities there, which of course is going to happen for something that's in the United States. I can't even imagine with the
Mhm.
Miami one, the when whenever they race that, what that's going to look like. That's going to be
Yeah,
huge. It's going to be like Monaco 2.0.
yeah.
The rich people that you don't know about are in Monaco, like the dignitaries and the people with all the real
Hmm.
power are in Monaco, but then the people with
Exactly.
the like the social power are in are
Miami,
are going to
Florida,
be in Miami. That's going to be insane.
California.
Yeah. All right. Statement. We've done our one word descriptions. Let's talk about
Yep,
drivers
yep.
because there's a couple that stand out. But Chase,
Hmm.
give me yours.
Well, we kind of chose the same one with
It's
Max,
hard
so
not to. It's hard not to.
Uh,
This was great.
yeah, I'll let you talk about Max. I'll just talk about Leclerc for a second.
Okay. Okay.
I think, first of all, first lap, my man's is getting dogged on by the two McLarens, doing everything in their power to get past him, and
Yeah.
he's not losing it. I don't know. I forget exactly whether he lost a position at the time, but he fought super hard against two people in the same team trying to get in front of him with that strategy. Oh my goodness, that was amazing to watch. And then he placed fourth again, second race in a row, doing pretty much the best that he can get reasonably. So I mean that's a solid race from him. He's still beating McLaren, who's his rival,
Yep.
and he's not going to beat two Mercedes or two Red Bulls and get into the top three. Not unless one of those four people make a mistake, but they didn't. So
No.
here we are.
Yeah, this was a great race from him. His teammate, I think, immediately got passed by Daniel Ricciardo. And yeah, so Daniel Ricciardo was dogging him all race. And he qualified, Charles Leclerc qualified fifth, finished fourth. That's pretty darn good for a
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari team that has had a tough few years. I think
Yeah.
putting together a quality race like that, they'll be happy. They'll be happy. Yeah, let's talk about Max.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about him.
The big one.
It's hard not to talk about him. He's the next world champion.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
probably already the best driver in the world.
I think so.
People like to say that
Statistically speaking, he's not, but I'd give it time.
he doesn't have the accolades. I think he's the quickest driver in the world.
Yep.
He's been doing this since he was 17. He's been at a top level since he was still a teenager. Like, he's only 22, right?
No,
22 or
24.
23. No, he's not. He's not 24.
I think. Let me see.
Look it up.
Verstappen.
Great last name.
Yeah.
He's got a great name.
24. Told you. Boom.
Okay, 24. You're right.
Still young.
24,
Still
24,
literally half the grid is older than him.
half the. He's still a baby.
Mm-hmm.
He's the fastest driver in the world.
I think so.
He's got a great name for motorsports.
I think.
What else is there to say?
Well, I'll say this. I think 10 years from now, Max is better than Hamilton, statistically speaking. I think. But I don't really want to see from anybody a dominant just walk over them Mercedes years. You could even throw Red Bull the 2010 to 2014. I don't want to see 2015 to 2020. I don't want to see that again from a single team, even if it's my favorite team. That's just not enjoyable to watch. One team just smacking every other team. That being said, I do think that Max is going to win the majority of the drivers' championship over the next decade. He is 24, racing a 36-year-old best driver statistically speaking in history, and he's beating him.
Yeah, he's beating him.
I mean, come on. He's just, and if Hamilton steps out, his rivals are going to be Russell and Norris. Yeah. And I hate to say it, but it's going to be a walk in the park because he's just got more experience than those guys.
Do you think if Max like soundly beats Lewis in these next races, like it's over, like
Like he
we all are
places
like
first every single time.
like it's over. Do you think Lewis retires after this season? A shock retirement. He kind of goes, all right. He's like, you know what? I'm 37 at probably by the end.
Yeah, so
Just
close
about.
to
I
it
don't know
at
when his
least.
birthday is, but he's he's
Yeah,
going to be 37. That's pretty old.
yeah. So
And Lewis has a ton of stuff going for him outside of the sport. He has no reason to stay in. He really
no,
doesn't. If he like, I understand he wants to. He like this is the first time he's ever had a legit challenge in a while.
yes. Besides, the
That's
closest person was Rosberg,
yeah,
Nico
it was Rosberg,
Rosberg.
his own teammate. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. We like to say that Red Bull has kept it close, but they really haven't. There
they've
haven't been
kept
a
it
lot of
close in comparison to the rest of the grid, but
yeah.
not, you know. So
It's
then,
I'm wondering. You never know. You never know. I don't think so because there's been no indication. But one day he could just wake up and go, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I want to stay home with my dog and design clothes and just be a
an
fashion icon
activist.
or whatever
He's a big
Lewis is
activist
doing.
too.
Yeah,
Well, to
that's
answer
an
your
interesting.
question,
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know whether he retires if Max just like let's say Max places first every race, regardless of where Hamilton places for the rest of the season, which is plausible. There's what like 6 races left or something
Yeah,
like that. It's
six.
plausible. Uh,
Mexico, Brazil, Qatar, Saudi Arabia.
let's say he does, right?
5 left. There's 5 left.
5. Yeah, that's reasonable. Winning six in a row, especially with Max, he's led more
Qatar.
races than the rest of the grid combined. Laps, sorry, not races.
Yeah,
But anyway,
Qatar and Saudi Arabia. We've never raced on before, so who knows?
yeah, we'll see.
But who
I don't
knows?
know if he retires, but if he does, he's not out of F1. I guarantee you, if he retires, he is going to do the same thing that the majority of these guys do: retire. A year goes by and their life isn't chaotic. They're not traveling 24/7. They're not working out 24/7. They're not doing press conferences. And they're like, what do I do with myself? They get back. I mean, these guys, yeah, I mean, they have to be working more than 40-hour work weeks,
Oh,
all things
definitely.
considered, like,
Including
meeting,
travel.
working
Yes.
out, travel, like, so I think if he retires, he's going to spend a year doing his activists, doing his clothes, doing whatever the crap he wants, and then he's going to be like, "Wow, I have literally all the time in the world on my hands. I want to rejoin." Because the other thing he said is he doesn't want to retire. He said that a lot. He doesn't plan on it. It's his life. He said that. So if he retires, he comes back. That's my prediction.
Okay. See, I would tend to agree with you if Lewis was a normal F1 driver, but he's not. He's just not. You have to look at how different Lewis's social life is compared to somebody like even compared to his teammate. Lewis Hamilton has like I think probably like the most like Instagram followers out of any
Yep.
person in Formula 1. He's probably has more than his own team. He has that almost like Ronaldo, like Cristiano Ronaldo from soccer effect.
Yeah, where he's just
Where
massive outside of it.
exactly his brand is bigger than like even really his sport. Like people that don't watch F1 know who Lewis Hamilton is.
Yeah.
Like if he were a normal F1 driver, I would say maybe, but he's not. All this guy needs to do is just like start a YouTube channel. Once retire, start a YouTube channel and then just like vlog, like just pay somebody to
I'd watch
vlog
it.
for you. That's going to make him a ton of money. It's going to allow him to like do fun stuff. If he retires, I see him becoming a social media personality and like using his influence to like grow the sport of F1, maybe becoming a commentator, a caster, something like that. And like if he were to to go into the social media space, which I think he already he knows. Like the guy is very smart when it comes to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a genius play to start vlogging do a YouTube channel or something to grow like that side of the sport, because it's already massively growing with
Yeah.
with all the
Drive to
teams putting
Survive.
out, with Drive to Survive, of course, with teams putting out YouTube videos and encouraging their drivers to vlog. You got guys like Lando already who stream, Charles Leclerc streams. It would be
Yeah.
so smart of him to go into the social media kind of space, kind of world, and try to grow the sport from there. Because I think he's got it. He's got the
He does.
charisma for it, and the fact that he's the best ever
Yeah,
is
helps.
only going to help that. It only helps that. So that's what I think he'll do when he retires. I don't know if he'll retire after this season, if Max really hands it to him in these last few races. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll go quietly into that good night. But I do think his retirement will just come out of nowhere. Like he'll just be like, yeah, I'm done. Like just after a season, he'll be
I
like,
could see that, yeah.
it's not going to be like a thing where he kind of announces at the beginning of the season, like, hey, this is my last one.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that. It's going to be like, we're like a week after Abu Dhabi. He's going to be like, he's just going to tweet like, hey, I'm done. Like, it's been awesome. Thank you guys. I'm out. Peace. Like,
yeah. On the subject of followers, he has 10 million less than Mercedes as a whole, but he has over 10 million more than Mercedes F1, and I believe the next closest person is Max. He has 24 million, by the way. I believe the next closest person is Max at 6.1. So it's not even comparable, his reach on at least Instagram.
mm-hmm. Fascinating. That's really interesting stuff, especially when we start talking about where the sport is going in the social circle, in the social world.
Yeah, it's
Because,
getting bigger.
It really is. I mean, we started this podcast because I was looking around and I was like, there are no American Formula One podcasts. I think I can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. In the past 2 weeks, I have a Red Bull jacket I wear. In the past 2 weeks, 3 people have stopped me and been like, hey, yo, is that F1? And I'm like, where are you American F1 fans coming from? We don't exist.
Drive to Survive changed everything, man.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Changed my life, that's for sure.
Definitely got me more into it, even though I was already into it. Just, it helped me want to watch more, you know?
Yeah, of course. All right. Let's talk about teams. This is going to be boring.
Yeah.
Because, again, we kind of had the same. It was Red Bull.
Yeah, we can just wrap this one up quick. Yeah, it's Red Bull. They did what they needed to do. They're being better than Mercedes right now, even though they didn't beat Hamilton. I mean, we're being dry about it, but it's the same thing we said last race. They're doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
They're making better strategies.
They're letting their drivers go. Even if Max kind of was complaining about his tires, and they were like, no, they're fine, Max. Like, you got it. And he does, and he does have it. He's got it.
Yeah. And they're making the right calls really fast. There was a point where Perez yielded to Verstappen instantly. Mm-hmm. And it's snap decisions that everyone's agreeing with, and they're running well.
Great undercut call too on Lewis for Max to get into first. You know what's wild is Max never passed Lewis on the track. He always passed him on the undercut. That's pretty crazy.
Which is good. That means
huge.
The guys who are, getting paid a lot sitting in a paddock together are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
One of the commentators said it's one thing to catch, but it's another thing to pass.
Yep. Which is a quote from a driver.
Yeah. But I was like, well, Max didn't have to do either. He just was quicker.
Yeah, he was just...
So shout out to those Red Bull engineers.
He had a bad start. The Red Bull engineers gave him the lead back, essentially. And then he was just good. He just did what he needed to do. He didn't, completely walk over Hamilton, but he kept the position and he kept the distance and, did what he needed.
Absolutely. All right. Worst of the weekend, Chase. Worst of the weekend. What do you got?
I'm actually gonna do. I'm gonna do two. I'm just gonna say all the DNFs because your and my worst of the weekend are the same thing. The
Yep.
Alpines
Again.
double DNFing. It was disappointing, and I'll just lob Gasly in there because when I saw Gasly, I was like, oh no, that's sad. You know. So I just, yeah,
Yep.
DNFs are disappointing. They're
Especially, yeah, it's tough. In a race like this when both cars are of the same team, double Alpine DNF, obviously, because for a team like Alpine, like they're not necessarily like scraping the bottom for points, but like
no,
they need points. Like
yeah.
if Alpine has a good season, I mean they might be fourth. Like who knows? But as of right now, like it's not looking great for them.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift focus. Let's talk about the power rankings. Your favorite, my favorite, of course.
Oh yeah.
This is the game where I go on Formula1.com and look at whoever wrote this article's power rankings on. I think this is overall. Is this overall, or is this
And it's
just
a game where it's a game. No,
It's
it's
a game
usually
with-
I think it's overall, but after each race, it changes drastically depending on what happened in the race.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it's a game where I get angry at whoever made it because someone places like sixth, and then they're like, "Yeah, they're the best person on the grid,"
Okay.
and I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
So there is still an overall standings, but this is like the power rankings for just the Circuit of the Americas race, the Grand Prix. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do this race power rankings or overall power rankings?
I think we did overall and this race last podcast, so let's just do this race.
Okay. 1 through 5.
You want me to guess?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be pretty simple. I feel like it should be to a certain degree. I think it's Max Hamilton, Leclerc, Perez, Ricardo, because Ricardo has been super inconsistent and he's finally in good points.
That was amazing. You got them all right.
Let's go, baby!
The only thing you got wrong was you got Lewis and Leclerc in the wrong order. So they have Max 1, Charles Leclerc 2, Lewis Hamilton 3, Perez 4, Daniel Ricciardo 5. But you got all the names correct. That was very impressive.
One position off. I mean, it makes sense. Leclerc arguably had a better race not in the sense of points, but in like skill.
Yeah,
that he did. I'll take
very
that.
impressive, Chase. Very impressive. Do you want to try the overall? I feel like you might be surprised at the overall.
All right, I'll try it.
It hasn't changed that much since last time, but there is one change.
I honestly don't remember last time.
That's fine.
We'll do Verstappen 1, Norris 2. Oh no. We'll do Verstappen 1, Leclerc 2, Norris 3, Hamilton 4, and
this one got you last time too. The 5th.
Did it?
Yeah.
I said what? Verstappen, Hamilton,
I can't remember who you said, but I don't think you're gonna guess it.
Fun. Well, I haven't said Gasly, and Gasly likes to be in this. I think because you're saying I'm not gonna guess it, I'm gonna say Bottas because he's the last person I'm putting in my top 5.
Okay. No, it is not Valtteri Bottas. I'm sorry if I threw you off there.
No, it's fine. I wasn't gonna get it.
Okay, so you got Max right. Lando is 2nd, Lewis is 3rd, Charles Leclerc is 4th, and then they have a 3-way tie for 5th.
What?
All averaging a 7.6 out of 10. Let's see if you can guess who those 3 people are. I want to see. You got
A
one of them. You
three-way
got
tie.
a three-way tie. You got one of them. You got Pierre Gasly. So you
Okay,
got to
and
guess
the
2-1.
people already in it are Max, Lewis, Norris, Leclerc. So
Yes.
it's not any of them. And
Yes.
Gasly, you said Gasly's in it.
Gasly is one of them.
Well, if it's a three-way tie, I think it's gonna be Sainz is also gonna be in there,
Correct.
and then, oh man,
This person has outqualified his teammate in pretty much every race.
Russell.
Yes, George Russell.
Yeah. I was like, who's outqualified his teammate every single time? Okay, it's back half of the grid. Who's gonna? It was so much better than their teammate that they can do that consistently. I thought of Gasly, then I was like, he's already in there. So Russell.
They rounded out. Excuse me. They rounded out with Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon all the way down there in 10th. I can't believe he makes the top 10. I'm sorry. I do not like Esteban Ocon. I think he's not that. I don't think he's very bad. I don't think he's good at all.
I don't think he's very bad. I don't like him as a person, but he's like this season he's been doing good. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel like that race win is just keeping him up there. Like,
yeah, I'm discounting that. I really don't. We talked about it, a couple episodes ago. If you haven't seen that, go check out that episode. But I don't think that's like, man, I really fought everybody on the grid. It's like, oh, I have found myself in first place.
Yeah,
let me just keep it.
And I just kept it.
Yeah,
isn't that wild? How like those races are fun? Like they're fun when somebody.
Yeah, they're fun,
but they don't mean anything.
No,
like
whatsoever.
Honestly, they mean more to the drivers who are actually fighting for the championship because they're missing out on those points.
Yeah.
They mean more to those drivers who miss out on the points than the driver that wins the race. Sure, the team, will appreciate getting those points for the constructors.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, like those points really don't mean anything.
Well, and I hate to say it, but how do you go home as like obviously Ocon was elated at the time, but like how do you go home and be like, yeah, I have a race win in F1. Yep, I earned it. So, yep, got it. It's like, it's like I have a win, but how much is that win worth it?
Yeah. I think there is a certain like pride you can take in it just because you did win.
Yeah, there's pride.
And you were able to most of these happen when like there's a big crash, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people get taken out, or there's bad weather.
Yeah.
So if it's a bad weather race, which I think the one he won was, correct?
Yeah, I think it was crashes and bad weather.
Yeah. There's something to be said for saying like all my other teammates couldn't keep the car or all my other competitors couldn't keep the car on the road. I could, so I won. It's like, okay, like I give you that. But I mean a race when like how many was that last year? I think it was Spa where they were starting on a after a safety car and just the entire back half of the grid just got obliterated.
Yeah.
Like they all just ran into each other. It's like winning a race like that when like all of your all of your competitors just get run into.
Yeah.
It's
I see what you're saying.
I was the only car left on the grid, so I won.
Yeah, it's like
it's kind of dumb.
I didn't do the worst.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Alex Alban. Now, there was a very interesting piece written by Lawrence Barretto on the Formula One website where they were talking about how because Alban is still part of Red Bull, then he is I think he's driving in another
contracted by them, so
he's still contracted. But they were talking about how much Alex Alban has helped Yuki Tsunoda settle in at AlphaTauri.
Oh, like
and
coach kind of help?
Yeah, Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
That's pretty
He
cool.
attends races as their reserve driver and is and kind of works with Sonoda and his team. He's not technically acting as a driver coach, but
Yeah,
is offering advice, informal advice in his own from his own
which is
experience.
valuable advice, in my opinion.
He listens to radio communications during sessions, some engineering briefings, and offers words of advice. So, uh, next year,
Mm-hmm.
Alex Albon is returning to Williams. Kind
Yep.
of a fresh start. Kind of a fresh
Yep.
start.
He's still contracted though, right?
He is still a Red Bull driver.
Which is wild to me that they're
It's
doing
not.
it that
It's not
way.
really that wild to me. It's
Well,
not
it's
really that
wild
wild to
that
me.
like,
I think they
hey,
still believe in the
Williams,
guy.
who contracts Mercedes drivers, take our contracted Red Bull driver that we might not ever use again. That's why I think it's interesting.
I think that
Anyway,
Red Bull has enough money that Williams is like, yeah, whatever, just give us the guy. We'll take your $10 million, whatever you're gonna give us, because
yeah,
I think I think Williams just needs money, and so I think they'll take
or
whoever.
want it.
What, in your opinion, Chase? Because I don't know. Are you a big Albon guy? I know some people are.
I'm not a big Albon guy, but I think we didn't see his skill. I don't
Hmm.
think we saw his skill.
What do
Because
you think? What do you think? What What do you think is kind of the what is a good season for Alex Albon at Williams? Is he
what?
beating? Is it George Russell esque where he's just constant? Look, Nicholas Latifi is a wonderful guy. He's not
Yep.
that great of a driver.
No.
He's not.
Love him.
He's not.
He's
Great
just
dude.
getting.
Super
Yeah.
nice guy. Super nice guy. Not that great of a driver.
No. Um. Well, so I think he's gonna do George Russell esque, like you said, where he's gonna be beating his teammate pretty almost consistently or 100% of the time. I also think that he's going to be pretty good in qualifying, much like Russell is, because you take skill, skill, and especially someone who's been thrown into a very powerful car for a year and a half, right? You take him out and then you put him in one of the worst cars on the grid where you can control the car, because the power difference between even a bad Red Bull and a Williams is it's they're not even in the same ballpark. So I think you put him in a controllable car, even though it's slower, he has more control over it, and I think he starts qualifying much like Russell. Not as good as Russell, but much
Mm-hmm.
like Russell, where he's getting out of that first knockout where he should be getting knocked out, getting into the second one, and possibly even the third qualifying. That's my prediction for Albon. I like the guy. I don't think we saw his skill because it was extremely stressful. It was, a very powerful car, his second/first season ever. So yeah, what do you think?
I tend to agree with. I pretty much agree with everything you're saying. I really like the fact that he has experience at a top level.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I think that is partly why Williams wanted
Yes.
him because he has that experience. Engineers and like even people in other sports always are talking about how like that's the biggest difference between somebody who's like just coming into the league or just coming into the team or whatever it may be
Yeah.
is their inability to communicate like what is wrong and what needs to be changed like for them. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like I'm criticizing the team. It's like a hey, this works for me. Can we do this? And
Yeah.
I think that a guy like Albon who now has about a year and a half, 2 years of was it? Yeah, it was about 2 years of experience at a top team. Red Bull was a top team. They were fighting for the
Yes.
championship. Didn't get it, of course, but they were fighting for it.
Yeah.
I think he will be able to come into that new team. Remember, they've got new ownership.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to be throwing in some new you know, engineers, some new people being able to come in and say, drive the car and go, here's what's wrong, here's what needs to be fixed, now fix it.
Yep.
And I think that is going to be huge for Williams,
Big.
especially with these new regulations, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Especially with these new regulations, I would not be surprised if we see a very quick Williams resurgence with their new owners, hopefully getting some more money, and now with Alban, who's finally getting a chance, he might be their number one.
What do you mean might be? No offense to Latifi, but Albon's got to be their number one.
I mean, like, he's not going to be a clear number one right away, but I think after the first half of the season, we'll be like, oh yeah, Alban is the best driver at Williams. Like, Alban is their number one.
I don't know.
George Russell is unanimously their number one now.
I'd love to see him just come out of the gates swinging, dude. Just first race, great qualifying. Latifi's like 7 places behind me. I'd love to see that.
I would love to see it too. And especially for Williams. I would love to see Williams shoot back up. Williams has a very bright future ahead of them, and I cannot say the same for Haas, which is disappointing. Yeah. Because obviously they're the only American team on the grid, although they're not even really like that American. Like, their owner is American. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. That's my thoughts on Williams and Alex Albon. I'm very hopeful, but who knows? It's Williams.
Well, and I'll tack this on. Not only was he at the second best team on the grid at the time, he's also been through and is still in the Red Bull program. And we know that the Red Bull program, they don't always do it, but they punch out some pretty dang good drivers. Mm-hmm. Like, the golden boy, Max Verstappen. Then you've got the previous golden boy, Vettel. And
Daniel Ricciardo.
Ricciardo. And then you've got the, people who did all right, but Perez is not part of that group that did all right. Gasly. Actually, wasn't Perez in the Red Bull?
I don't think so.
Hold on.
No.
Anyway, my point being,
because
I think he's got their knowledge. I think he's got that knowledge too going for him.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Chase, we're running out of time, so I'm going to get to one last challenge. I saw TikTok, which I know how that sounds.
Yeah.
But it was a really interesting TikTok talking about stats for head-to-head teammates. So the Mercedes drivers, the Red Bull drivers, the McLaren drivers, the Aston Martin drivers, so on and so forth. It was comparing their laps and looking at how many laps were one person faster than the other guy. It was like a head-to-head. Like a who's quickest around this, in relatively the same car, who's faster. Yeah. And some of these are very surprising, and some of them are not. I'll just say that. So
the challenge is, I'm guessing, which driver has the fastest ever lap on the track?
No. You're guessing out of each of the teams who was the quicker driver overall, and I'll tell you how many more laps or how many laps they were faster than their teammate.
Is it their average or is it their...
It's not an average. It's a number. So there were 53 laps in the race.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 53 laps. So in a total of 53 laps, one driver had 36 faster laps than the other person's 17.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start
with the top. And that's for Austin, right? This is for US.
Yes, for the US, yes. So Let's start with the top. Let's go with Mercedes. Who do you think had more faster laps?
I don't know. Lewis Hamilton much?
Yeah. Lewis Hamilton.
Did
Lewis Hamilton
Valtteri have any?
Yes, he did. He had 9.
Oh, wow.
Lewis Hamilton had 44.
Yeah.
Red Bull. Another kind of an
It's
easy.
it's an easy one. It's Max, but I don't think it's as dominant as what we just
It
talked about.
pretty much is. It's
Really?
43 to 10. 43 to
Oh
10.
my
Max had
goodness.
faster laps.
That tells you how good Max was doing compared to Perez and how good
Yeah.
Perez was doing in general.
Yep. McLaren. You might not get this one. This one's tough.
I think it's Danny.
It is
I
not. It is not
oh,
Daniel Ricciardo. Lando Norris had
no.
29 faster laps than Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo had 24.
Sad.
Aston Martin. Who do you think?
Vettel. I really heard nothing about Stroll this whole race.
Yep. You got it right. Vettel had 36 faster laps than Lance Stroll's 17. Okay. Alpine. Granted, they weren't in the race for the whole time, but who do you think had more faster laps?
I'm gonna say Alonso. He was really out there.
That is correct. Alonso had 20 or 28. I can't tell.
Low
To
number just was
Ocon's 12. Okay, Ferrari.
Leclerc. Even though Sainz did pretty good, Leclerc did better.
This was another. He wiped the floor with him. 44 faster laps to Sainz's 9.
Oh
Tough.
yeah.
So AlphaTauri. This one is kind of dumb because obviously Gasly was out, so he only had so many laps. But who do you think had more?
Gasly got out early. It has to be Tsunoda. There's no way.
Well, because they capped it at 14.
Oh,
because that was when Gasly went out. It's 7-7 actually. 7-7. This is a close.
Tsunoda
This is another close. Yeah, this is another close one. Alfa Romeo. Who do you think?
Oh, I'm gonna go. Vettel had trouble getting past. Well,
No, not.
I know.
Martin,
I know. I'm saying I'm referencing like Vettel's fight with Giovinazzi.
Oh, okay.
During the race, but I'm gonna go with Kimi because he was going pretty aggressive and then he spun out unfortunately. But I'm gonna go with Kimi.
That is incorrect, but it's very close. Raikkonen had 26. Giovinazzi had 27. Very close. Oh
my goodness, one lap.
Yeah, one lap.
The one he spun out on, dude.
And these last two, Haas and Williams. Who do you got?
Haas and Williams. Well, Williams, if it's not Russell, I'm sad.
No, it absolutely is. 39 to 14.
Okay. And then if it's not Schumacher, I'm also sad because I seriously believe that Mazepin is the worst on the grid.
That is correct. Not that Mazepin is the worst, although he might be. It's tough.
Yeah.
It is Schumacher. Schumacher had 41 faster laps to Mazepin's 12.
And that's why I think Mazepin's the worst. Just saying. 2 worst cars on the grid, and it's not even comparable.
It's not close, yeah. All right, Chase, I think we can wrap it up there. We're getting close to the 45-minute mark, which is where I like to kind of
I do want to add a fun fact, though. The person I was thinking that was in the Red Bull driver program was Sainz.
Sainz that's right. He was
inside the junior program. So,
yeah, because he raced for Toro Rosso for a little bit, and then he went to Renault, and then he went to McLaren, and now he's at Ferrari.
And now he's arguably top. No, I won't say top 5. He's definitely top 10.
I think you could say arguably top 5.
Yeah, you could argue it.
You could argue it. I don't know if I would, but
I'd have to rethink I'd have to think about it for a little bit, but.
All right, Chase. We've got Mexico, November 5th through the 7th. That is this weekend, I believe. No, well, currently it's Saturday, currently it's Friday.
Yes.
Friday evening.
It's November 7th.
Yeah.
Well, it starts the 5th. The weekend starts the 5th. The race is on the 7th.
The Mexican Grand Prix. One of my favorite tracks on the grid. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. Man, I love this track. I love the hairpin that goes through the grandstand. I freaking love that design. It's so cool.
Makes it way better for the audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who is your top 3? Who do you think is going to win, Chase?
This is what I want it to be. I don't know if I care if it's statistically speaking better, right? Like last prediction, which by the way, I'm pretty sure you got spot on. Your last podcast
Yeah,
prediction.
I think I did. I was
You
like,
said
I couldn't
you
remember.
said Max
I'll have to.
Hamilton, something like that. Anyway,
I'll have to go
I
back and then next week I'll brag if I got it right.
yeah, I I did my research last week and I said Hamilton first because he's so dominant on the U.S. track. I don't really care about research. I want it to be Perez, Sainz, Max. Just just
That is a fun top three, Chase. That's
it's
awesome.
a super fun one, and it means a lot to the first two. You know,
Yeah,
and
I will
yeah,
take. I love it. I love your pick. I will take Perez in first as well, but I think it's a Red Bull one too. I think
mm-hmm.
Checo, he just lays it on the table for this one. He's
Oh
going
yeah,
all out. He's like, Max, I have been a fantastic teammate all season. Let me have this one, Chief. And I think Max
yeah,
goes, you got it, brother.
I agree.
Checo's first, Max is second, and Yuki Tsunoda's third.
Oh my god,
I'm coming back to this. Yuki Tsunoda is going to have one race where you're just like, holy shit, this kid's good.
yeah,
I'm calling it. I'm calling it. All right. I think we can end it there, Chase. What do you think?
yeah. I think that's a good ending.
All right. Can't wait for the Mexican Grand Prix. I'll be watching.
Yeah.
And I love that. Man, I love that turn. I just love that turn
Yeah,
so much.
it's a great track.
It's a great
It's
track.
a good track.
And it's just good to be back. Good to be back in the United States with all the COVID shit. Good to be back in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for these two new tracks. I think these are going to be really fun to be able to see the drivers on tracks that they've never seen before.
And new like dynamics of like who's just purely better versus who's raced on the track more.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's call it there. Chase,
Yeah.
I'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.